Okay, you're good. Whenever you want to start.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is posting to your niche, and that basically means is finding out what. The way I think about it is I ask myself, who would I want to bring to the lake with me? Because the lake is somewhere I love to be outdoors. And so that's how I think about it. I think, like, who would want to come with me to the lake and be friends with me? Who would I want to hang out with? So whenever I'm posting, I need to be thinking about just that, gearing how I say my post and what I'm posting about, not just obviously the vital behaviors, but just posting just things in general. I want to gear it to people who love the outdoors, who love the water, who might love paddleboarding or something like that. And so I want for the reader to read my post and think, oh my gosh, she's talking to me. She wants me to come to the lake with her. She wants me to do this with her. And so that's one thing that you need to be thinking about, is just basically not posting to the masses. And I don't know why I find it so much easier. Like when I'm posting about my religious posts, like I never think, oh, I hope to inspire so-and-so. Like, I mean, it's kind of like a God thing. It's a niche. You don't want to post to the masses, but you want to have people that you relate to. And so like when I post my religious posts, I always get these messages back like, oh my gosh, I was feeling the same way that day. I needed that scripture. I needed that verse. So that's how you want to think about it, posting to reach those people. And I think when we try to post to the masses, we don't necessarily get the best responses. And I mean, you guys just know that just because people aren't liking it or they're not private messaging you does not mean that you're not reaching them. Because the people, and it's so weird, the majority of people who buy programs from me are the ones who aren't even like commenting on my post or asking questions, but they'll always like send me a private message. I guess they're, too nervous or too embarrassed to post on my, like posts or even my personal pages. But they'll always private message me. Okay, so think about your question, like whatever it may be. I know Stephanie Davies talked about like, who would I want to have coffee with? So whatever it is that you like, think about before you write out a post, like who do I want to go lake with me is mine. So think about your question and kind of go from there. Guys, if you're just hopping on, if you wouldn't mind muting yourself, there's a little bit of background noise. But anyways, okay. And then the next thing I want to talk about is just posting and how many times a day. And this is going to be so different, like page versus personal page. And throughout our training, Wendy's going to go over this some more, like page versus personal page. But posting anywhere from 2 to 4 times a day, and they say 2 to 5 times, is fine. But you don't want to get so caught up in, oh my God, I need to post in the morning, I need to post at lunch, I need to post in the evening, I got to post at 9 o'clock. You don't want to get so caught up in thinking that you have to do all these posts that you're posting just for quantity and not quality. So you want to be you, and you want to give people, a chance. Like, people are looking for your post. If you're consistent, like Melanie Mitro's one. Jamie, can you mute everyone again? The event finals, we have the top men and women on each.
Yeah.
Okay, so Melanie Mitro's one I followed on Instagram and somewhat on Facebook, but on Instagram is before they changed the whole algorithm thing. She's one that I knew she was going to have a workout post every single morning. She was going to wake up and she was going to post some kind of inspiration in a picture, a selfie of her in her gym working out. Doesn't matter where she was on vacation, in a hotel, at home, wherever. She was always posting about working out in the morning. So you want to be consistent. That doesn't mean that you have to post a workout, selfie and something like that first thing in the morning, but you have to find like, who are you? I like to, and I had been last month more so, posting my daily readings, because that's when I was doing my 4 vitals like really, really good, and I was getting up and reading my readings. And so I had something to share about scripture-wise, and people, I found started to relate to that and noticed that I was always posting it, because then I kept getting more private messages about what scripture are you reading? So that's just an example. I like to post about my faith. And so that's one thing that I like people to relate to me in that way. So you just have to be you, and you want to keep people kind of guessing in a way. So, we're going to talk about breadcrumbing throughout this training, but you want to keep people, on the edge of their seat and wanting more. And you want to kind of leave your posts open-ended. Like if you're giving a tip or something, I like to redirect people on my posts. Like say Instagram, I can't post as long of a video about how I made a meal. So like tonight I made a meal and I posted a live video both on my and my personal page. So I'm going to be posting something on Instagram probably later, because I want to reach people who are laying in bed right now looking through their phones. But I'm going to post to that, and I'm going to post a picture of my meal, and I'm going to say, hey guys, I posted a recipe idea, for clean eating and how to hide vegetables in something. So if you want to check it out, check the link in my bio, and it's going to lead them to my Facebook page. And so then they can go on there and they'll watch the video. And I've been doing this a lot, and I've learned that my following, and I don't want to get so caught up on so many different platforms, but my following has gotten bigger little by little on different platforms. Like my Snapchat is what I've been trying to use more since our trip to Nashville. And so I've been posting about that and just getting people, hey, I'm going to Nashville. If you want to follow my journey, here's my Snapchat username if you want to add me. And so like I'll have 6 people or whatever add me at once. And so I like to, get people to follow me on multiple platforms so that I can share my message and just give tips and whatever else. And then I guess lastly and quickly, I want to talk about just giveaways. I know so many of us have tried to do different types of giveaways. The tumbler thing, not the tumbler thing, the Yeti cup was a good one, I think. Like Wendy did it and Carolyn did it. Those were good giveaways to do because, it was probably the start of the Yeti, and so everybody was wanting one. And I think even now it would still be a good giveaway. But you just have to be careful. And the reason that you do giveaways is because you want to increase your followers. And so it's okay to give away things that aren't necessarily shake or performance line or whatever it may be. I'm actually, though, going to be doing a giveaway this month since it's my birthday month for shakes because I have some extra that I need to get rid of. But my target for that is I'm going to post about the giveaway probably on a Sunday, and I'm going to maybe run it till Wednesday. And what I'm going to do is everybody who likes or shares or whatever, I'm going to make sure that I've invited them to like my page or add them as a friend if they are someone that I would want to take to the lake with me. But giveaways are hit or miss. I've done giveaways where I've given away programs to people and then later find out that they have best friends that are coaches. And so, I don't get a great carryover with that. But it's still good to do. And the shake giveaways that I've done, it's given them an opportunity to try the shakes. I send the recipe link with them. Lately, since we have this free 30-day membership, if I send them something like the shakes, I'll tell them, hey, you have your shakes or whatever. If you want to be in my group, you can go ahead and sign up for 30 days and I'll let you in so you can see what my groups are for. And I'll let them keep them in there because they're my customer, even though they haven't really bought anything and they're just doing the 30-day trial. But giveaways are hit or miss. I definitely would be conscious of when you're doing giveaways. They're not necessarily, I wouldn't say, to a niche. So timing posting, you really need to find out when people are seeing your page posts. And for me, Sunday evenings are good. And lately I've noticed that my lunchtime posts during the week have been good. Like on a Monday or Tuesday afternoon, I'll post a video and things that I don't even think are going to work have been working. So you just have to play around with that. And Jamie is going to be talking more about that. So I am going to let Jamie take over on talking about time of day to post.
Okay. So I think just to give you a little heads up and welcome, I meant to do this before, but Bridget got on a little bit faster than I expected. So we're going to have, this is kind of backtracking a little bit, but we are going to have, I think 5 or 6 weeks of this social media boot camp, and it's going to be every Sunday at 8:30. And we're all going to talk about different things, and we're going to try to answer your questions that you ask in the group, but we're also going to be posting throughout the week different tips and tricks that we have found that work best for us, or that we have learned at Summit, or whatever it may be. So just keep that in mind, and also tag us if you have questions, and we'll be able to answer. So to kind of piggyback off of what Bridget was saying, I'm gonna start with frequency and time of day of when to post. So honestly, you're gonna learn in this business, it's all about trial and error. So when I first started this business, I was working full time, and so I started doing a post in the morning, and then after I'd work out, and then I would do one maybe during the day, and then definitely 2 at night, so like one around dinner time and one a little bit later in the nighttime. And for me and my audience, that worked well. But I also found that earlier in the morning was better than later in the morning. But I found that by trial and error. So when you're thinking about times, think about when you are getting on Facebook. So when would you get on to scroll? Even though we shouldn't be scrolling because we're working, but when would you get on? Like, when would you say you go on to check what so-and-so is doing? Would it be in the morning while you're getting ready and eating breakfast? Would it be at your lunch break? Whatever it may be. And this is going to go hand in hand, parallel with your niche. So think about that. So say you're a mom and you're wanting to go after moms. Moms may be on during the day around nap time. So that's completely fine to post during the day. Maybe it is later at night while they're, breastfeeding or whatever. And I know that Wendy and Bridget and Tiffany in the house told me about that. Like, it's very different. So think about your niche. So don't think that you're going to probably figure that out right at the first couple of times. It's really going to take trial and error. For me, I wanted to talk about, fitness versus personal, but Wendy's going to go way more into depth about that. So I'm just going to really stick to what times work for me. So Monday through Friday, pretty much, I guess I could go ahead and say Friday, morning posts are great for me and my niche, and then late afternoon, and then for sure night. And so I'm trying to post 4 times a day. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can work up to that. But one thing I do want you to think of is, if you're trying to recruit coaches, or if you're trying to, build your business of challengers, you want to be top of mind. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have paragraph posts every time you do a post, but you want to be the person that someone thinks of. So bring value, but also, and I don't want to say stress about it, but really be consistent. Be consistent with when you post, because people are going to be looking for your posts and your inspiration. So that's going to take trial and error. So like I said, Monday through Friday, I do mornings, late afternoon about 4 to 4:30, and then I'll do sometimes dinner posts 6:30 to 7:30, and then I'll do a post like tonight on Sunday night. I'll do one after our call. Or for me, it's like 9 to 9:30 is a really good window. So it really just depends. But on the weekends, that is going to be mostly your social posts, and that's going to be, it can be during the day, it can be in the morning, it can be at night. So I feel like on the weekends it's or at least on Saturdays, a pretty open window for you there. And then on Sundays, Sunday mornings for me, I have found are great, and then Sunday evenings are awesome too. But like I said, I really just want to stress trial and error. Don't feel like you have to have it figured out right away, but you're never going to know if you don't try. So just work on consistency, and work on when you would grab your phone and get on Facebook. Start with that, and then kind of play around with it. Now, moving on to what to post about. So I said I post 4 times a day, and I think a lot of times, I used to say this, and a lot of people ask me, well, I don't know what to post. I don't have anything to post about. My life isn't that interesting. A newsflash and kind of a harsh reality is no one's life is really that interesting. If you think about it, we're in a training right now, and some of my coaches have heard this, but if you think about a celebrity, think about your favorite celebrity and what they post about. I mean, yeah, just, I mean, don't think about the red carpet events, but they're posting pictures of what they're eating, yoga, what they're doing, whether it be on the beach or whatever. And like, they post thinking that someone's waiting to know what they're doing. That's the attitude we need to have. We need to think someone is waiting to see what we're doing in the day. Even if you don't think anyone is, know that I am, or that the rest of the leaders are too. Just be out there. Put yourself out there. Show what you're doing, because no one's going to know what you're doing unless you share about it. So I kind of I like to, do variety, but I do typically 5 topics a week or a day. Not a day. I guess more, I sprinkle them throughout the week and I do more of one. But for me, I have, let me find it. Sorry. I do faith, family, fitness, fashion, and fun. So that's really vague if you think about it. So that can be a variety of posts. So what I do, and Bridget and I are gonna kind of talk about this, I have a very different style of posting than she does. I like to plan. So I like to know what I'm going to say, not necessarily scheduling. I'm really not great at scheduling, but I like to plan. So I will post this in our group, but I have this page that I made that each week I'm going to post one recipe at least, probably more than one fitness tip, one product or fashion tips that could be about makeup, hair, nails, some sort of fashion, something, a family post, a faith post, a cute make you smile post. So that could be maybe my dog Penny, if she makes you smile. It could be a joke. It could be anything like that. I like to do one video a week and then one Shakeology post a week. So what I do on a Sunday, hopefully, or if not on Mondays, I get this paper out and I plan out these posts for sure. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 8 posts for sure. I sprinkle those out throughout the week. And then I fill in my gaps. And so I'll write, Monday, and I'll do like 4 little hashes because I want to do 4 posts a day. And I kind of sprinkle them depending on what my week is going to look like. And I don't write out all my posts all the time, but I make sure I know an idea of what I'm going to be posting. So 1, I know what kind of picture I need to get. But 2, also, so say that the day gets busy, I know I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I was thinking on Sunday, and this is what I want to post about. Now, I think posting on the fly is really, really good because I think that this is something we learned in Summit, and Wendy talked about this in her Summit takeaway, is being very transparent with what you're doing and very open with what you're going through. And Sean T said to put it on the TV. So pretty much put yourself out there, what you're doing right now. And that's something that's kind of been pushing me. So it's really pushing me to share my story. It's really pushing me to share what I'm going through at this moment in time. So I can't always plan that out. I can't always plan out a post when I'm, on a random Wednesday going through something. And so that I don't plan. I just post on the fly. And Bridget's going to talk more about that because that is her cup of tea for sure. So make your list of 5 things, kind of like I did. And then what I did is I just kind of expanded from there to make, non-negotiable posts of what I'm for sure going to post about each week. Then from there, I will fill in the gaps. And how I fill in the gaps is maybe random, what am I doing that day? What is my family doing? I, throughout the week, I'll screenshot posts that I loved from either coaches or maybe even someone who's not a coach that inspired me or that made me smile. And that's our job, to add value, to help support people, to motivate people. So I will screenshot those and then I will go back to my phone and I put them in a little folder in my photos that says posting inspiration, and I'll go to them and I'll kind of jog my memory being like, how did that make you feel in that moment? What do you want to make your audience feel? And then and then at that point, that's when I'll start typing out my post. Or now, one thing that I really learned that has been a huge game changer for me is the voice memo on your phone. I don't know if y'all have ever used that, but for me, when I can talk it out, even if it's to nobody, just to my phone, my posts have been so much better and they make more sense when people read them because I'm talking it out loud. So one thing, Bonnie Engel, I don't know if y'all know who she is, but she is one of the top coaches, and she is a genius and a professional selfie queen and posting like crazy. If you ever need inspiration, go to her. But she said they came up with a rule called the BFF rule. And what that is when you're posting or you're typing something out, read it out loud, like walk around your house and read it out loud like you're talking on the phone to your best friend. And if you would not say what you typed out to your best friend, change it and post that. So don't get caught, like, like for example, I think Shakeology is a great thing to talk out. You don't want to necessarily give all of the stats about it, because like if you were talking to me, if I was your best friend, and I'm like, okay, I'm really struggling with this, tell me about Shakeology. You would not necessarily quote out all the ingredients, all the stats. You would tell me what it did for you. So remember that people trust you. I think it's important to include that stuff for backup support, but make sure that it's something that you would say out loud to someone else, because it's going to be, when you read it, it's going to read a lot easier too. And it's going to go back to your niche. So when Bridget was talking about, she posts to that girl who's reading it is going to be like, man, she's talking directly to me. So that's how you want your post to come across. So say it out loud. That has been huge for my business and for my posting for sure. I'm going to go over a couple more of my tips, and I'm going to pass it back to Bridget to talk about her posting on the fly. So I talked about screenshotting, like things that inspire you. Maybe give yourself a day during the week that you go through, and don't copy what other people are saying, but be inspired by what they're saying and put your voice and your personality and your stamp on it. Because remember, you matter, your story matters, so that's what you need to be portraying. You don't need to be worrying about what I'm saying or what so-and-so is saying. Say what you want to say, because you're going to attract someone different than I would attract. Let's see. Oh, another thing that I've done that has really been helpful too. I have a note in my phone about, like, it's just pretty much post templates. So I, for some reason, when I'm laying in bed, when I'm supposed to be like, okay, I'm really about to go to sleep, my mind like goes crazy, and that's when I get my best posts. So at that point, I have like a list of 20 posts that I can pull out that are already pretty much done, just because I was inspired at that moment. It's kind of like, it just makes me think about this. When after you work out, or after you read your personal development, and you're like on cloud 9, and you're like, I've got to say this, and this. Write that all down, but break it up so that you have more posts to talk about later in the future. And then at that moment in time, read it and then see how it makes you feel and expand there. So I recommend totally making a note. Maybe you're at the grocery store and like a song's on and it makes you think of this, and you're like, oh, that would be so great to talk about. Jot it down in your notes, and you'll be able to have it later on a day that you're like, man, I just don't have anything to post about. Go back to your phone, go back to your photos where your posting inspiration is, and that's where you're going to get your inspiration there. Definitely breadcrumb. I think a big thing that I get a lot of questions about is how to present the coaching opportunity via posting. And I think the best way to do it is to breadcrumb. I do think the call to action posts are for sure important, but I think the breadcrumbs are going to be what's going to get people's attention. Remember, when you're posting, 80% of what you post is to get someone's attention. 20% is going to be where you actually call them to do some sort of an action. So what do you love about this business? What keeps you going daily? What made you get on this call tonight? Like, that's the kind of breadcrumb you want to talk about. You want to talk about flexibility, travel, rewards, accountability, friendships, whatever it may be, because I guarantee you there's another girl out there looking for what that is. Because I was looking for friendships like this. I was looking for flexibility in a job, and I would have never known had someone not said something about it. And I guess my last thing is, don't feel like you have to be perfect. Be vulnerable and be raw. That's what people relate to. It's hard. It is totally hard. And I think for me, it clicked that I wasn't all in, because I wasn't going all in all of my posts with being open and being vulnerable with what I go through day to day. And that's what I'm really working on, is sharing me and sharing my right now, what I'm going through, my story, my struggles, my successes, whatever it may be. Don't be ashamed of that. So I'm going to just stop there because I feel like I could talk about this all night. And then, Bridget, I'm going to pass it back to you, and you can talk about your posting style. You want to unmute yourself?
Okay, my posting style is basically that I don't have a style. I am pretty much a on the whim kind of person, and this probably, success partner wise, this probably drives Wendy. I mean, this does drive Wendy crazy because I just don't ever have anything planned. Like, I have things planned in my mind. Like with this call and getting our notes together is a perfect example. Like, Jamie has outlines of everything, and I'm just like, I know what I want to say, and I know it'll just fall into place whenever we're going. And so that's the same way with my posting. I do take a ton of pictures. Like right now, I think I have like 6,000 pictures on my phone, which is ridiculous. But anyways, I take pictures of my food. I take pictures of my kid drinking my shake. I do videos all the time of Parker drinking my shake, or us outside, or let's see, tennis shoes. I'm trying to look through my phone right now. Just anything that I think, I want my person, my best friend, to look at, and I want to share with them. And so I have all these photos, and I can, anytime that I don't have something to post, all I have to do is go look in my phone and I can post it. Like, I have so many pictures of food that I haven't shared yet. But when I think about things, and it's normally the Tuesdays that I get to stay home, I have tons of thoughts like running through my head. So I am somewhat organized in that I will go write out my posts in my notes section. And like Jamie mentioned, I'm really liking, and I've been doing this since we got home from Summit, is I've been voicing over what I want to say in my post, because most of the time I'm either driving or Parker's with me, and I don't have time to sit there and type out what I want to say. So of course there's going to be grammar issues, but I go ahead and use my mic and I type out my I say my post, and it types it out for me, and then I read it. And yeah, there's a lot of dots and incomplete sentences, but that's who I am. I'm not a grammar person. I'm not into English. So the person who I want to relate to me and be on my team is not going to be some grammar Nazi, because I'm not going to be able to relate to them. So I guess with that being said, posting on the whim, I did also want to mention, because I was talking about this with Jamie earlier, like, we do want to attract our best friends, but with our pod that we had created since, starting like being on Sister Empire team, like me and Wendy are success partners, and then Jamie and Kayla or whatever. But like, we found each other just by hanging out and doing different events and hopping on live calls, and we just found out that we meshed together. And it's so weird, like, you still are going to attract opposites, and that's great, because opposites do attract, and you don't necessarily have to be into the same things. Like, I laugh at how Kayla and I are a lot alike, and Wendy and Jamie are a lot alike, but yet we're flip-flopped, success partners, because we're opposites, and that's why we work well together. So still know that even though, whatever, you're posting to your niche and stuff, still know that you can attract opposites. But I guess just posting on a whim, I like to listen to my heart, and it seems like the things that I do try to plan out and type out, whether it be like a call to action for my challenge groups or whatever, those are great and they do get attention. But the things that I get the most attention from is just being raw and being me. Like tonight, posting a video of what I'm cooking. Like, I do get questions about it, and people private message me of like, does your husband really eat that or whatever. So, it's okay to not have everything planned out. If you're like me and very unorganized, it's okay too. You can still make this business successful, whether you're OCD or extremely unorganized. Everybody's different, and that's what's great about this business is that you're going to attract people like you or completely opposite, and it just works. So we have only, I think, Jamie, 6 minutes left, so I want to let you talk because yours is more organized and you probably have a lot more to say about it.
Well, I think the last thing I was going to finish with, it's a little off subject, but on subject. One of the questions that was asked is about sharing versus, like, sharing your post versus copying and posting the same thing on all social media platforms. Um, don't share your post. Always, always, always copy and paste it, because Facebook has an algorithm that if it's a shared post, it doesn't get seen as much. So if you feel like you're being annoying, you're not. Who cares what people think? Um, Post the same. I do it sometimes. I'll post the same thing on my fitness and my personal at the same time. Sure, some of the same people like my fitness page and they'll see it, but more than likely they won't. And so I don't really care, to be honest, because it's going to get to someone. And I have had people tell me, "Oh, I saw that post." I'm like, "Okay, well, you didn't like or comment." So, like, people are watching regardless you know it or not. So don't share your fitness post. I rarely do that. I'll do that sometimes, but very rarely. Always copy and paste it. And I use the same content on all platforms. I know it sounds repetitive because you're doing it yourself, but they're different people, I promise. And if it is the same people, they'll get over it, because, like, I guarantee it's not, they aren't going to be like, I don't know. I guess it's just something you've got to, like, one thing you've got to learn to get over is I think there's not enough, there's already other things that we need to do in our business. I don't think that there's point. I mean, I think there's some things you should post on Instagram versus your, like, page and personal, but I don't think that you should stress about coming up with completely new content. I think you should just work on doing different content per day. And then, honestly, that's really all we have. I don't know if there's any questions, but I guess the biggest thing to nail down is just to be you. Don't just be unapologetically you, because I think it's hard sometimes, harder than we like to even admit, because there's so many things that go through our mind daily that we're like, oh, if someone saw that, they would think I was crazy. But that's why we have this team. That's why we have this community, because at the end of the day, we're going through the nitty gritty by ourselves, but we have each other to lean on. And I know people respect what y'all are doing by posting, so keep doing it and just do it consistently and unapologetically, because it's going to pay off. And your posting is your storefront. That's what people are going to see when they look at your business. The messaging and building relationships is so crucial and so important, but people also need to see what you're doing. They need to see you and believe what you're saying, because social media is our business. And so don't be afraid. Don't feel annoying. I mean, I know all of us have had people unfollow us. I know all of us have had some negative feedback by one person. And did it sting? Absolutely. But did we get over it? Yeah, because we had each other and we talked about it with each other. And then we went and read some personal development. So that's another talk, but that's why it's one of the vital behaviors, because an entrepreneur mindset is hard, because people are going to doubt you. And so just keep doing what you're doing, but do it more. I'm just going to challenge y'all to do it more. And, open up your box a little bit. Talk about stuff you're passionate about. If you're passionate about sports, talk about that. If you're passionate about makeup or hair or dancing or the Aggies or whatever it is, talk about it. People will trust you when they know more about you. And how are they going to get to know more about you? Posting,
I just wanted to say, like what Jamie said, 100%. You have to love yourself and be completely just in love with yourself, almost to the point of arrogance, but not making it sound arrogant when you're posting. But you just have to be so confident in you that when people tell you stuff, like I've had people come up to me at weddings and be like, oh, I saw your video. This person never liked anything and never likes anything on my Facebook, but a guy, was watching, and obviously he watched my whole video. So it still is speaking to people. And if y'all don't follow this guy, and his mouth is kind of foul, but you need to follow Gary Vee, because he is so unapologetically him that I mean, it's ridiculous. And you can learn so much from him. And he banks, y'all. He's an amazing entrepreneur. So, anyways, that's just my 2 cents. We got about a minute left.
Yeah.
Any questions, anybody?
That would be less than a minute for us. Okay, well, thank y'all so much for getting on. I'll post the recording as soon as it's uploaded, and we will see y'all next Sunday at 8:30.
Do you want to take a picture real quick, Jamie? Or do you?
Yeah, go ahead, because I don't have my phone by me.
All right, everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. We love y'all.